there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and it's New Comic Book Day. With a little bit of What the Fugue thrown in. We'll start out with the What the Fugue stuff. So there have been some announcements this week of some comics that I am interested in. That I kind of want to talk about really quickly. Black Hammer, which anybody who watches the show, watches me talk on my videos and stuff. I really love Black Hammer. I love everything about the way the kind of the catching of golden age heroes, of the modern sensibility on them. I've really been enjoying that quite a bit. They've announced that there will be a spin-off of Black Hammer. It is cannot remember the title. It's Mr. Frankenstein and something. It's about the villains, and my understanding is it's Jeff Lemire wants to ask kind of address the question. Well, what are those villains doing with all the heroes gone? Because the main heroes of the big city are all stuck in their situation, and so he wants to tell a story on that. It's a miniseries, so it's not ongoing. So cool with that. I'll be checking it out. I mean, I'm interested to see. That's an interesting question, and so I'm looking forward to it being what they might do to address it. I've had some conversation on Twitter with some of my other comic book reading friends, like Eric from Longbox Review, about at what point is there a oversaturation? You've taken an idea and stretched it too far and whatnot. I say that, but Dark Horse, which is the one that puts out Black Hammer, I think has done an excellent job with the whole Mignola universe and the ideas that Mignola has, and kind of made all kinds of great content with those different ideas, where the basic tenet and flavor of those stories is all the same, in that it's set in a universe that these kind of things are happening in, but I think that they all have kind of their own voice and do their own thing. And so the Black Hammer stuff is kind of the same way. I'm all for that. Hopefully it's not just a matter of like a cash grab as, ooh, this is popular, so let's make a whole bunch more of it in as many ways as we can, which we see the big two do quite often. Big two, there you go, just give my fingers. Do quite often, and generally to a detriment, in that it waters everything down and it either gets you fatigued or not interested in any of it, kind of a deal. So we'll see how that goes. Another one, which is an ongoing spin-off from of Animosity, the Aftershocks comic that I have a hard time saying the title to. Marguerite Bennett is going to be telling another story that has to do with her world, where all of a sudden one day all animals gained sentience and the ability to converse just like humans do. So it's going to take, instead of it being a story about Sandoval, a dog and his girl, this is about a group of animals and what they're trying to do and whatnot. So I will be picking that up initially. I think it's an interesting world. I think you can ask a lot of interesting questions and explore a lot of interesting stuff with it. So we'll see, the difference between what are human issues, what are animal issues, and once you become sentient, do you have the same kind of issues, and whatever else might come out there. So I'm totally looking forward to all of that. DC announced that they're going to be doing a Ragman miniseries. Stoked about that. Love Ragman, a definite top magical type character out of the DC universe that I really like. Ray Fox is writing it. If he's producing stuff like his Gotham by Midnight, I'm excited for that. Really excited. The reason I heard about it initially was because on Twitter I follow the artist Inca Miranda. I follow them on Twitter, and that's where I saw the announcement initially. Really like their art quite a lot. They did the art on Coffin Hill, which I really, really enjoyed. So very much looking forward to their take on it. The only thing that could possibly worry me about that is if they make it closer to the character that is on Arrow, as opposed to our traditional Jewish superhero kind of a character that we've had in the past. So that would be my only concern about that. Otherwise, super stoked about that. I could get that. I was briefly excited and now kind of bummed. They're also doing a Deadman miniseries, which I love. Deadman. Deadman's another one of those characters. Let's put all these guys in one awesome book. Would be exciting too. Some awesome ongoing. But I really like Deadman. I've always liked Deadman quite a bit. The hiccup is Neil Adams is doing the writing and drawing on it, is my understanding. And whereas he helped create the character, and kind of made him what he is. At the same time, if you've ever read Batman Odyssey that was put out a few years ago, you would know why I'm concerned, or at least from my opinion. It was not good. Total respect for Neil Adams, what he did, where he's been, the stuff he's created. His influence on the Silver Age of DC and whatnot is great. But I feel like he's one of those creators that potentially passed their prime, or have not translated well to modern comic telling sensibilities. So whereas I love to get that old stuff by him, I'm very, very, very nervous about what a current thing by him will be. So we'll see. I will probably cave and order the Deadman book. But my first thought is I don't want to get this because of the fact that he's on it. As much as I love Deadman and almost the miniseries kind of stuff, and a long list of old titles I want to pick up. Somewhere along the way, I want to get those, like the Phantom Strangers that have the backups with him in it, or the backups with Black Orchid and some of the other interesting kind of supernatural bump of the night type characters. So, so I'm excited. More new books coming, which of course that's going to put a strain on my pull list. I'm going to be dropping some more stuff off my pull list. I've been debating on the whole Nightwing thing. I have now found out that the DC dark metal shenanigans that Scott Snyder is doing is going to start polluting the regular titles. And whereas I didn't care about the metal stuff, I wasn't going to get any of it, but I just didn't care. Cool, so people are going to enjoy it, whatever. I wasn't going to get it to that book. Now I'm going to actively hate the thing, because if it starts, interrupting my storylines books that I'm reading now, polluting them in some fashion or another, I don't want to read that. I'm irritated by that. I'm tired of that. DC wasn't supposed to be producing events that did that. So if the stuff that's happening in the metal stuff is mentioned in a title, I don't care so much. But my understanding is like Suicide Squad, Teen Titans, Nightwing. There's going to be a Green Arrow. There's going to be a kind of a crossover to those things, and you have to get all 4 books to get the full story in there. And I kind of caught this through somebody talking about the upcoming solicitations for Green Arrow, which I'm not currently getting. And they were trying to describe their storyline, that it was the end of, the kind of the trial of Green Arrow stuff that's going on right now. And, also the metal stuff that's where the end of this metal storyline was going to be now too. So that means they've added a storyline to a storyline that was already going. And I just don't, that stuff just never works well. I find it frustrating, and I don't want to have to get a bunch of other books to read whatever. So Nightwing is part of that somewhere. So I am dropping it, because I've kind of just been discussing whether or not I was going to drop it. So I am definitely dropping it. So that's 2 books a month that just cleared off my pull. I think the Detective Comics here has some mention of metal stuff too. So we'll see how that all plays out. Because I know that Tinian the Fourth is helping write some of the metal stuff. So I don't know. The metal stuff may end up being awesome, great. If it's really, really good, I guess I can go to the new comic book store and pick it up off the shelf, find out first issues or whatever, if that's accurate, and then then try and get it on my pull after the fact. But chances are I'm not getting it at all. And if I hear it's awesome, I will. I can go and get it in trade. Read it that way if it's so great. But anyway, frustrated by that. So you'll hear me bellyache about that for I'm sure months on end. If it really does start polluting all of my DC books, it'll be a mass calling of DC books too, I guess. Because that's just a good excuse to stop reading some books that I'm on the fence about. One last thing, as far as what the feud kind of tough stuff goes. No comic book roundtable this week. I'm going to be doing some stuff with the family. Sergeant America is doing some stuff with his family too. I'm sure Rez is doing stuff with her family also. But I know I've got stuff going on, and Mike said that he wasn't sure he was going to make it because he definitely had stuff going on. So no comic book roundtable this week. Hopefully that means that that lights a fire under me and the disembodied voice, and we'll talk about this week's books next week in videos, because of course 2 weeks ago we did a video. We're like, yay, we'll probably be back next week, and of course we weren't back next week. So without doing the comic roundtable, I'll be jonesing even more to have a venue to talk about the books that I read. So hopefully that means that we will put out another video. That will be the motivator, hopefully. But anyway, let's look at some comic books, because that's probably why you're really here. So got my books. This week my invoice is telling me 18 issues. So I have trimmed out some stuff, clearly, because the last couple weeks my pulls have not been so big. Either that or it's just all the indie books are taking breaks. At some point I'll figure it out. I don't know. Anyway, let's talk some books. So first up we have Rebirth. This is, Rebirth. Woo! Because I can see that title. I can't see the rest of it from my camera. But at any rate, it is Red Hood and the Outlaws with our homage to the Death of Superman cover. Except, of course, the S is backwards, so it is the death of Bizarro, and hopefully that's not the case. Really been enjoying this book. I'm looking forward to a Bizarro-centric in some way, issue. See where that goes with him, getting sick. See what kind of story we get. So definitely looking forward to that. Let's see. We have Superwoman. Rediscovery. So we'll see where this continues to go with Perkins. I have not been really excited by this part of the storyline. It is a $3.99 book, but I only get it once a month, so it's getting a little bit more of a leeway. I really like the way the character looks. I like the art. I like the character. I'm just not super excited about the story we're currently being told. So I don't know. We'll see how long that goes. I need to look ahead and see if Perkins is still writing it all the way along. I really kind of wish that Hernandez had stayed on the book. I said Hernandez, and now I'm not sure that's who it was that was writing it. Anyway. So, next up we have, this is Wonder Woman, issue number 26, Heart of the Amazon, Part 1. So this is our new creative team on Wonder Woman. Really, actually, now I'm kind of really excited to get into this. I really like that cover. So, Fontana writing, Alfondo and Fajardo Jr. on art. I'll open up here real quick and look at the art. Yeah, her look doesn't look bad. I mean, she suddenly isn't a girl. A girl as opposed to a woman. So we'll see. We'll see what we get for a story. Now that whole the epic, Greg Rucka run, story is done. We'll see what the new Wonder Woman ends up being like and whatnot. So, yeah, I'm actually, like I said, surprisingly looking forward to it. Early on, I was a bit concerned. We'll see what happens when we get to the arc after this. Anyway, speaking of animosity, there is animosity right there. This is issue number 8. That's a cool cover. So we're looking forward to seeing what's next. They had gotten a ride from the whale across the Potomac, I want to say. So they're still way on the East Coast, and they still need to get clear to California, where our girl's older brother lives, so she can live with that before our dog Sandoval dies of old age. So looking forward to that. Seeing what happens with the crew there. And this is issue number 2 of Animosity: The Rise, which is a mini-series. Also written by Margaret Bennett. All the Animosity stuff is Margaret Bennett, so she is just rocking at Aftershocks. John Doe is the person who does the art on this. I don't know if this is a John Doe cover. Really kind of like that cover. So I'm curious, bats with and the cyber stuff and all that kind of stuff. Be curious to see what this ends up being. So The Rise was kind of just kind of a general. This is what happened in the early days of the animals gaining sentience. So exploring deeper into the background of the ongoing title. So for that, get lots of Animosity this week. Black Cloud, issue number 4, I believe. Yes, issue number 4. I was kind of on the fence the first 2 issues. Issue number 3 just really cemented all the interesting stuff about this book. Made it really intriguing. We got some actions going on. We've got kind of the them and us stuff in there. So we as a reader, I feel like, have got more. So just kind of flowing along with whatever's happening. I feel like we're a little more grounded in kind of established plot as far as what the characters are attempting to do and what their motivations are. We're getting a lot more of that. So very much enjoying the book. Caltech. I'm actually really kind of interested to read this. Caltech, California's Sovereign Republic. So this is issue number 1. This is another Black Mask book. I'm looking forward to this. It is super thick, this first issue. No idea. Of getting into it. So Palazzo, Nathan Pan, Boss, and Campbell. And I don't know what any of those people do in this, as I just read that off. So we get this occupied Los Angeles, basically. This little map on the inside here. And it's showing a resistance territory, University City, Hollywood sign, the outpost, Hollywood, and Highland, occupied Los Angeles there. So there's the resistance part. This over in gray is the occupied Los Angeles. So, yeah, we got this, I don't know, near future or current times. I mean, I don't know. You got some, I have no idea as far as that goes. But I like the art. So I'm really excited about this. It's gonna have all kinds of social commentary on all kinds of stuff. I believe in this. I've heard good things about it. So, and this is all comic. Okay, so to there is comic. That's pretty impressive. Ooh, and there's some hardcore violence in here. I mean, there's a policeman just getting the hell shot out of him from under the ground. So, looking forward to that. The Mulholland Resistance. Yeah, there's still going to be a lot of cool kind of stuff in here. And there's some interviews in the back. There's an editorial essay all by this Palazzo, who clearly is the writer. There's an editorial essay in here. There's an interview of Amanda Weaver, in here. There's also looks like an interview with Alexi Alexander. I'm not sure who Alexi Alexander is. Bill Ayers stuff in here also. So yeah, so I am looking forward to checking this out and seeing what this is about. I was kind of hoping I could get to it. Oh, here's a bigger map that really gives you how it's all broken down and whatnot. That Pacific Coast Sisters City Alliance is that stuff that's got the red on it there. The Sovereign City Coalition is the stuff in the dark green. X marked spots are occupied by the National Guard. Stars are unoccupied sister cities. Orange triangles are battleground cities, and X's are Bunkerville militants. Just to kind of give you an idea. And it's spread into a little bit of Nevada there. Looks like Las Vegas is occupied by the National Guard. unoccupied sister cities. So Vancouver, Bellingham, Seattle, Olympia, Portland, Eugene, all of them. So I'll be curious to see what how it all has to do. I wish. Oh, here we go. All this time I'm talking too long. I'm looking at the I'm looking for the title page. So, Black Messiah's Risk, Caltex, Chapter 1. If you want to scream with me, is what the title of this is. So the writer is Matteo Palazzo. It says artist Amike Nulipan, colorist Tyler Boss, letterer Jim Campbell. They credit a flatter here. D. Cunliffe. That's cool if they credit the flatter. Lots of colorists don't actually credit the flatter. Maps they have the person does the maps in here, the person does the flags, everything else. So, yeah. I said, looks cool. I'm excited for it. How thick and hefty it is and stuff. So that first issue, and the first issue is $3.99, and it looks like I got the B cover, CVRB. I'm assuming that's what. But I kind of like that. I love it. The California flag. The bear is wearing a mask and stuff. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see if this is responsible social commentary versus some of the stuff that's being put out right now that could be considered irresponsible. So another Black Mask I picked up. This is the last song. Issue number 1, I think it is just its own issue. Written by Holly Interlandi and art by Sally Canantirno. No idea. Other than it's another book that is super thick. Can you hear that? It's hard card stock. So, this is produced by the same guy who wrote Caltech. So I don't know. I don't know a lot about Black Mask as far as who's running it. So maybe he's somebody who actually runs it. So and I know this is why I picked it up. Couldn't remember why I picked it up, to tell you the truth. Nicky Marshall was saved by rock and roll, or so he likes to think. An awkward upbringing and turmoil following his father's suicide led Nicky to form a band called Ecstasy with his childhood friend Dre. The music takes them to Los Angeles, raw and gritty, teeming with personalities. Nicky thinks they're ready for stardom, but no one's ever ready for stardom. This is the first of 4 oversized issues. Okay. Begins in the 80s, grows out of grassroots clubs, and introduces ecstasy to the world, whether it's ready for them or not. For the brand new team of Holly Interlandi on scripts and Sally Cantino on pencils and inks, this unique, heartbreaking story is about letting the music in, how it changes you and affects everyone around you, for better or for worse. I'm a huge music fan, so I'm stoked about that. It is black and white. I am digging it, though. So, because I'm a big music nerd and stuff, too, I think I am going to probably enjoy this. So, looking forward to it. It looks like it kind of has the, not near the quality, in my opinion, but it has the kind of the look of Brian Wood and Ryan Kelly's Local, for instance. Got a character in here who's got some great freckles. I'm a fan of freckles in comics. So yeah, be curious. So 1 of 4, right? So I'll have to keep my eyes peeled for when the next are coming out, because I'm betting you're not going to get them right away, kind of thing. So yeah, and $4.99, just to let you know. But it's, like I said, hard stock and thick. It's not square bound, but it's as ever bit of thick as the stuff that like DC square bound. So yeah, pretty cool. From Aftershocks Comics, World Reader number 4. No idea how many issues this thing is going to end up being. I've been really enjoying it. About a woman who telepathic ability is that she can kind of read worlds, read the people who used to be there, see the ghosts and that sort of thing. And she is on an expedition, military expedition. Earth is dying. And they're trying to find new planets to live on, and new new alien life forms, whatnot, and all they find is they do find places where there were alien life forms, but everybody's been destroyed. Something has destroyed all these stuff. So now the government's keeping it very quiet. They're not letting people know the fact that that there's this thing going on that they found alien civilizations, but they're all wiped out because they think that would clearly really concern people. So they are trying to figure out what's wiping them out, so they can do that before they start trying to establish something. So I've been really enjoying it. Another book that's got Juan Doe's art on it. Juan Doe also doing the mini of this, and he's also doing American Monster. So where he fits it all in at, I'm not sure. His line work is very basic, so that may be part of it. He lets the color do a lot of the heavy lifting, and maybe he's quick at doing that too. So next up we have American Gods, issue number 5. Still really like the David Mack covers. I'm not reading this though. And we go back to our regular artist. Last issue had a guest artist on most of the book. Now we're back to the regular. I'm not nearly so interested. So, and picking it up for the disembodied voice. She's the one that's reading it. New Superman, issue number 13. This is this Shanghai Under Siege Part 1. New story. This will let me know whether I'm going to keep getting the book. I have enjoyed it up till this point. A new artist. I'm not sure if the new artist is going to grip me enough, because I like the voices of the characters and whatnot as far as the writer goes, but clearly comic books are a visual medium. I really like the other artist that was on the book. So unless I can see in solicitations that they're coming back, or somebody else is taking over, I'm just not a big fan of Philip Tan. I just think he's not a great artist for me. Not enjoying most of the books that he is on artistically. So another book I'm super excited about, Kill or Be Killed, issue number 10. The wonderful team of Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, and Elizabeth Brewster. Or Brett Weiser. I really should learn to say her name because I say it way too often. So super excited about this. Great reddish orange cover there. That's a real eye popper amongst all the other covers that we've looked at so far. But anyway, definitely looking forward to it. As always, it'll be at the top of the pile to read, I'm sure. I think this might be the last issue of the Hulk that I have ordered as far as as far as the book goes. As a matter of fact, I've been thinking more and more about this book, and I have problems with the story even. We start out with her not being able to, or not wanting to turn into the Hulk, pretty much fighting anything she could do not to turn into the Hulk. Then she hulks out once, gets into a fight with the big bad evil monster, and then the next issue, for therapy, she's turning into the Hulk and destroying a building that's going to get destroyed anyway. It just seems a radical swing without a conversation as to why suddenly it's cool for her just to walk around as the Hulk. So that bugs me now. So we'll see what this story ends up telling us. What's really going on there. Different artists on the books. We'll see how that pans out. I know the storyline that's coming up, if it's not now, but very soon we'll have Hellcat, aka Patsy Walker. So kind of looking forward to that. But this is a book I know I can pick up at the local comic book store, so I pulled it off my pull. I hear good things about it. I'll run in and see if I can get it. So, Grass Kings. This is issue number 5. I really started really enjoying this. The last issue we kind of drew the line in the grass, as it were, to who is coming. The town across the lake is basically coming over to invade. They're bringing guns. It looks like it could potentially be a shootout. So curious to see how that all pans out. This is interesting, like whatnot. This book continues to have this fabulous hard stock cover on it, which I don't know how Boom Studios can afford to do it, but I'm not going to complain. I'm just really enjoying it. Interesting story and seeing where it goes. Detective Comics 960. Interesting watercolor-ish kind of cover. Looking forward to seeing where we go with this whole intelligence storyline. So, yeah, it's kind of Azrael focused to some degree. So curious to see how he plays in the new DC universe, and go from there. Another book that'll be clear at the top of the list: Deadly Class, issue number 29. Yeah, super excited. We've been having all this great story about Soya. We'll see what's next. We'll see where it goes. I have no idea what kind of story they're gonna tell me at this point, but I am all in for some Deadly Class. And let's see, Bug issue number 3. Last issue made a little more sense. I'm reading it for the art, and just to see what kind of goofy journey it takes us on, kind of thing. It's all about the Mike Allred art, for sure. And finally this week, a new book by Vertigo, The American Way, Those Above and Those Below. Understanding this is a character that's out of the Wildstorm universe, possibly. No idea on that aspect, so we'll see what it is. I know that it's like set in the late 60s, early 70s, I believe. Kind of a I don't want to say James Bond, but kind of a super secret agent kind of a deal. I think it's gonna have some social commentary kind of stuff in it. I think it is Afrocentric. So we'll see how this all works out too. I'm excited to get to read it. Anyway, that's my books. Quick reminder: no Comic Book Roundtable this week. Unless something crazy happens, I'm sure I'll be back next week to talk books. Hopefully, being the Disembodied Voice, we'll get together and we will talk about the books. Even if we don't, I will try to make it a point of cutting a video to talk about myself, because I get real itchy when I don't get to talk comics, and hopefully there's some awesome stuff in here for me to talk about. Maybe I won't talk about all of them, but maybe I'll just focus on some. Anyway, this has gone on for half an hour as a quick video. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.